Welcome back. In this video, we are going to be determining our formula for a straight line on a Cartesian plane from a table of values. So let's jump right in. So let's bring up a table of values right here and have a quick look. So as you can see in here, we've got our x values across the top, we've got our y values across the bottom. We can plot this line actually quite easily, so let's go ahead and do that. So here you can see we've got our 5 points there, -2, -2, -1, 0, and so on. So let's go ahead and sketch that line now. And there we have it. There is our line based on that table of values. What we want to do now is come up with our formula. And there's a couple of things that we really need to know before we can start to substitute into our formula and actually come up with what the formula for this particular line actually is. First thing we need to remember is what our rule for a straight line actually is, and we know that is y equals m times x plus c. Now this formula has 4 parts to it. This one here is the y-axis value, and this is represented by what is on the bottom row. This one here is the x-axis value. And that's represented by the numbers on the top row. This one here is our gradient. And you'd recognize that letter from previous lessons. And this whole plus c here, well, that is our y-axis intercept. Now, what does that word mean, intercept? It means to cross over. So what we're looking for here is the point at which this line crosses over the y-axis. And if we have a quick look at our line on the Cartesian plane, we can see right here, our first point that we need to recognize is that this line crosses over at +2 on the y-axis. So our y-intercept, that's our first starting point right there, is +2 because it's a +2. We don't need the x value, the x-axis value in our formula because it will be given to us in our table of values. So right before that, we can simply say x. Another big clue for us is the fact that we know that based on working this formula out, it's going to give us all of our y values. So y equals. And the only thing we have left to do now is calculate the gradient. Well, we can do that just by looking at the line. If we can find the start point and the end point of our line, we can calculate gradient. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, the start point of our line is going to be represented by these coordinates here. That just happens to be the first 2 points on the table of values. And our point 2 could be represented by any one of these that is next to it. So I'm going to use -2, -2. I'm also going to use, let's say, 1, 4. So let's get some of this out of the way a little bit. We'll just tuck it over here for now. Now, I know that my formula for gradient is going to be y2 take y1 over x2 take x1. Well, my y2 value, I've chosen to use this as my point 2. So that's going to be 4 take, and my y1 value along here is going to be -2 over my x2, which is 1 take -2. Well, 4 take -2, this all becomes very simple now. 4 take -2, that's 6. 1 take -3 is 3. And if we simplify this down, we can divide both of these by 3. So it becomes 2 over 1. And remember, any number over 1 is just that value as a whole number, which means when we come back over to here for our formula, we now see that our formula is y equals 2x plus 2. So if I had to give you any advice on how to solve these, here we go. Let's see if we can't simplify this down so that we can get some steps for you to follow. Step 1. I would say definitely plot your line. Or rather, let's say, sketch your line. Step 2, I would say identify your y-intercept. Step 3, pick 2 points in your table and use them to calculate the gradient. They're really the only 2 values that you need to worry about being able to calculate. Other than that, the y goes at the start, y equals m, which you calculate from the gradient, times x, which is a variable, plus 2, or rather plus c, which is going to be your y-intercept. I hope this has been helpful. I'll bet your teacher's got plenty of activities for you to test this out. If you do have any questions, please write them down, bring them into class. We can go through them. I will see you next time. Bye.